Hello and good evening, everybody who is tuning in tonight or this evening for the Neoteran Herald Weekly. We are coming to you live as we prepare to formally enter into week 39. And I recognize that there is a bit of an error in the graphic that is showing there saying it's week 38, but certainly yes, you're on the verge of breaking from week 38 to 39. Take a little bit more time than we have to correct that slight error, but that's fine. We'll do that later on. So I want to get right to it so that we take the minimum time amount of time. Just have less than 30 minutes to go into the new year, to the new week number 39. I want to introduce myself. My name is Astrology Joroge Wahome Warugongo. I'm a Neoteran astrology astrologer. And while I have expertise in various areas, this is the area. It's a new understanding, as the name implies. Neoteric is something, a new idea coming into the world, and those who propose it, we are the Neoteric people. I don't want to get into too much of that. Let's first of all look at the countdown timer as it is, and you will see that we are 23, just at 23 minutes to the start of the new week number 39 in our Neoteran calendar. Weeks don't usually squarely belong to one month or the other because, like, I think 3 days of this week will belong to month 9, and then you go to the 10th common month to take us for the rest of the event. So I want to ensure we have a bit of orderliness in how we display this. So we'll be looking from time to time at the countdown timer, but most of the times we'll be just checking the content that we have prepared. We just have 2 things to do today. We're not going to do too much teaching, except that which is going to be incidental to the content that emerges from the areas that we'll be covering for this week. Let's look first of all at the various alignments of the planets as they are for week 39. And as I said before, this is just a graphic. It may not display, it may not give very much actionable information. It's when we interpret that information and we give it to you and we apply it especially to your own profile that it begins to become actionable. More of that as we talk. So this is week 38 actually. These are the alignments of last week, the week that is ending right now. But the week that is the brand new week that we are entering into, these are the details thereof. I have attempted, if you checked earlier in the day, we did post the third episode, and we did explain a little bit more about this table. So I'll not go into that, but if you want to check that information, just check the link that we just posted in our group, the group that we call Knowledge Base, Education and Knowledge Base, within the larger Neoteran Astrological Global Community, WhatsApp community. And you'll find episode 3. It's only 20-something minutes long. Just we'll be adding the chapter so that you can be able to find the exact piece of information that you're looking for, and it becomes useful for you. So for better understanding of this information, we are going to look right now at the various the alignments as they are in the week over the week, and we look at the major alignments of the planets as they are. And if you check, this is week 38. Of course, we're looking at week 39 right now. You notice that there's not much of a difference that happens from one week to another, but there's considerable changes. If I toggle between week 39 and week 38, you'll be able to see your eyes, you'll be able to pick that movement, the movement of the major planet. The major planets do move a lot more speedily than the ones we call minor planets in general. And as you can see, there's been some progress just over that 1 week, and there we can be able to pick up some highlights One of them that is clear is that you can see Mercury is no longer so far behind the Sun, but as we start the week, that is, remember this is a snapshot of the exact middle of the week. This is Sunday, not Sunday. This is Wednesday. Today we already moved according to Townnet Standard Time. It's already Sunday, and but the depictions here are for Wednesday sunrise. That's the kind of alignment that will be there, and I want to see if you do have any comments on the YouTube channel. I want to be able to view that quickly. Let me just look at it. We have some two viewers, but if you're getting us, let's just know even who you are. It's a good way if you can hear us. It'll be good to get to hear that from you. Let me move so that I'm able to see exactly what is live at the moment. So I was just illustrating here and speaking that you can be able to see that Mercury is on the verge of joining the Sun, or rather on Wednesday morning. At sunrise, it'll be on the verge of conjunction, and we'll talk about that later in the day. That conjunction will be reality, or maybe a day later. But if you move to the previous week, that is the week that's ending, you'll see, okay, there is minor. We go to the minor planets, right here. This is minor planets. Only to look at the major planets, alignments of week number 38. And here you can see there's considerable distance between the Sun and planet Mercury. So they've gone, and I think, okay, this is not so much special, because this is something that happens every single month. So you don't even see it in our highlights, but at the time of the sunrise, the moon and planet Jupiter will just be in conjunction. The moon will be slightly ahead, but not so much. But something very specific to see here is that the moon will be reaching this standstill point. And because we are talking about major standstill, lunar eclipses, major lunar standstills this year, that's why you see there's such a declination, there's such a latitude away from where the sunrise comes to standstill at this point. But the moon will be a little bit higher, and it will be and has been consistently over the last almost 2 years by now. I want to now go to, okay, there's nothing else to say. Mercury still, Mars is here, still making its sojourn, and I know I'm not illustrating otherwhere. So this is the conjunction of Mars, no, not Mars, but Mercury and the Sun. The Mercury's solar conjunction, and then, of course, the moon's conjunction with Jupiter. Just incidentally, is happening on that Saturday morning. Normally we don't depict lunar conjunctions as being very, very special, because, well, they're very, very regular. They're very commonplace conjunctions with other planets, and would have to keep saying the very same things this week and next week and the other week, and he's saying, so we just pick the ones that are especially significant, but they are there. When we look for highlights, we look for highlights because of things that are quite rare in happenings. But that doesn't mean that it's the exclusive information about everything that is happening in the celestial heavens. And as I said, here we see Mars is still ahead, so Saturn is here, moving well in prograde fashion across Habizelda for the first time. This has not happened since about 30 years. So there's something that is happening that's novel. And of course, here is Venus still in retrograde, but coming very, very close to its standstill. And actually, that is part of the major highlights that we should have included in our highlights list, and we didn't, because it's going to happen right at the end of the week. And we've not included that. So those are the major planets. If you can look a little bit at the minor planets very quickly. Let me move to the minor planets, even as I look at how long we still have, about 15 minutes to time when we will have to welcome the new day and the new week. So let's look at the minor planets for this week. This is the order in which they appear in the celestial heavens. Thank you. Thank you for those ones who are tuning in, getting us clearly. That is encouraging to see you with us this evening. And I want to look at the minor planets. Again, the minor planets are usually very stationary, but that doesn't mean that nothing does take place over 1 week to the other. Especially, as I told you, if you look for minor planets, we want to look for something that can change quickly, something that is quite programmable. Look at these two. This is something I repeated in episode 3. Look for planet Vesta here. Look for the anti-solar point here. Look for planet Ceres. These are the ones that are likely to move within a considerable measure from 1 week to another. But the others, their position is still important. We still have planet Aries here, and you can see just how much close it is to the equator. On its equatorial transit is just 2 weeks away. That is going to be significant because it's something that happens over very lengthy periods of time. It's still waiting in anticipation, although for all intents and purposes, that is an event that is happening around even at this moment. So that is it. We need not go look at just for illustration purposes. Maybe we can look at last week's alignments as they were. These are the alignments of the minor planets last week. And as you can see, if I toggle between that's week 38 and week 39, you can see again, the only two that make any changes is planet Ceres and the anti-solar point. So that is it. Let's look at the highlights for the week, even as we consider the time that we have. We still have just over 31 minutes. Oh, no, sorry, not 31, but just over 13 minutes. We'll be beginning the session in about 5 minutes time. 5 minutes to time as you look to consider what to speak for the new week. And that's particularly the reason why we consider, or rather we take it that we consider and we do this in live fashion so that we can not only just pick things, but it can tell you to participate with us and do something that is of consequence for yourself and your life. Let's look at the highlights for the week. And well, these don't appear in very consecutive order, so let me just show all the notes. And one of the important things that are happening this week is the Mercury-Uranus conjunction happening Sunday, 27th of the 9th common month. That is exactly tomorrow. This conjunction is happening within house number 8. The host is Behemoth. See, Mercury at this point in time has not yet got to house 9, but by the end of the week it will have got there. So, as you can see, the lunisolar conjunction happening on Tuesday, 29, and the 29th, this lunisolar conjunction, of course, is the sign, is the indicator for us that we are moving away from the 9th month, the 9th Aryan month, and we're going to a Behemothian month. Reason being, that is exactly where the sun and the moon, lunisolar means it has to do with the sun and the moon and the sun for that matter, happening again, not in house 8 but house 9, but still the major host that straddles those two houses, at least the exit of house 8 and the entirety of house 9, is what we call Behemoth. You may hear it in other circles referred to as Taurus. Mercury will come into conjunction with the sun, and this is essential. This is very important for our creative purposes. On Saturday, the 4th of the 10th common month, that is next Saturday, this will happen now at our celestial house 9. This Mercury will have already moved out of house 8, going into house 9. It's moving very rapidly at this period in time, and it will be, of course, under the host Behemoth when the conjunction is happening. Mercury solar conjunction is important because that is the point at which we move from the second phase of its synodic cycle. We are talking about now, if you look at those ones of us who have advanced and they have a profile, because the cycles of Mercury are very sensitive, and if you don't have a profile, we may not have been sharing with you its transits. They have to do with a lot of programming that we do with our own personal selves, things like personal development, things like career or advancing your education, or just any personal project that you're doing overwhelmingly for your own selfish advancement. And therefore, we'll move from the second phase to the third phase of its transit. The third phase is called the ultrasolar prograde phase of Mercury cycle. Need more information about this? You can ask me the questions and we can explain that. Now let's look at the other main conjunction. And how many minutes do we have? Still have about 9 minutes to get to the new week. This is something that we've been talking about, but because it's so special and of consequence, that is why we keep referring to it, is that we have 4 planets that are in conjunction. They are together, they're indistinguishable for each other, and for creative purposes, they are also you can substitute one for the other at a time like now, or especially if you manifest at a time like now, then you have special, or of course, if you are, and this still speaks about week 38, but of course, as I said, we are in week 39. Formally, we are moving into week 39 in just 8 minutes time now, but that is what should be referred to here. Let me just check that confusion that is there. Talking about week 39, not week 38. And that is essentially our look ahead to the highlights that are there in week 39. To repeat myself, let me just look again. Of course, there's something that you said you've not included here. It is also the standstill of Venus. Planet Venus coming to a standstill. It is the infrasolar standstill, and that means the highest extent to which planet Venus gets to in a sojourn across the celestial heavens is coming in this week. I wanted to look at our countdown, and we still have about 7 minutes to get to that. So we can be preparing. Let me just make a little bit more about that Venus, because as I've said, these are 2 junctions that are being reached within space of 1 week or 7 days. They have to do with these synodic planets, planet Mercury and Venus. We say they are synodic because their cycles are understood with their relationship with how they move across, not across the heavens, but how they are related to the sun. And that is why even when you speak right at this point in time, if you consider many astrologers, they will tell you Venus stopped its retrograde motion weeks ago, but we're still considering that because the distance between Venus and the sun is increasing, and it's increasing while Venus is behind the sun, and that makes it retrograde. It's not moving in the normal fashion of progression forward. But by the time you're talking about next week, you see that has changed. Venus is essential because it talks about our liaisons, it talks about how we couple together, how we come together in groupings, and how we create synergetic relationships, everything from marriage to even some type of business, or rather, these are they are groupings, they are couplings that, of course, have to go with a sort of covenant understanding. And this is not antagonistic covenant understandings. There are some antagonistic covenant understandings in that you are using, you don't do it for out of mutual uh, or rather agreement, in a way that you're giving it yourself. So it's a very special group of liaisons, and the one that fits it is like that one of coupling, marriage, family. And that is the end of what we will consider today. We're still less than 5 minutes away, and this is the beginning of week number 39. We need it to be as consequential as can be for your own purposes. Please, so I think what we need to do is stop this that display that is showing there, or rather we can make this countdown even bigger, so refuse the entirety of the screen. That's what you'll do. Okay, so here we are, 5 minutes from time. So this is a very consequential creative week, and I want us to enter into it with thoughtful consideration. I want us to make as much use as we can of any sort of openings that might be available, any opportunities to harness creative energy, any opportunities to advance our causes. Let's make use of it. And therefore, I want you to think about everything that you want to achieve within the week. Be ambitious, but be also realistic. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because, as I said, everything that you're doing is upon you to do. It's not something that you're making an appeal to and then you leave it so that someone may look and may bring to reality that which you have spoken. It is you to bring into reality the things that you're speaking about. We are just 2 minutes away, and what I'm going to give you is some 30 or so seconds. Think clearly about what you want to achieve, what you want to bring forward. With the sun, we are not limited to either one particular area of creative mandate or not, and then we're going to speak together. Welcome the new day, welcome the new week together. Bless it, imbue it with all the consequential goodness, outcome, and progress for us and our own. Thank you. I'm going to play the music for about 30 seconds, then you're going to come back. So I believe you have had time to consider everything that you'd like to bring to reality as this week progresses, and therefore we are going to speak now in general form. I would request you to stand up, face the general direction of west, or if you need particular directions, about 295 degrees from on your compass if you do have one, and then let us speak. We are here at this crucial junction as we enter into the 39th week of our calendar, and we know what consequence it is, and we want to be glad because there's been a week that we have progressed. We've seen major advancements. You've seen our wisdom, wealth, and influence increase manifold times. And as we started on the verge of this new week, this new day, this new hour, as darkness envelops the land, and we begin to not only seed but energize our creative purposes, let everything that we are doing have consequence, not just for us, but those of us who look upon to us, those for whom we are united in common purpose and common cause. And let it be made so that the pathways we walk on, that the headways we need to make, that the gateways and portals with which we need access, let them open for our access with immediacy and with consequence. Let every honor that is due unto us, let every abundance that is of our own good. And for these very thoughts, considerations, and desires that we carry foremost in our minds and in our consciousness and are thinking about and meditating on at this time, they'll come. Let them be fulfilled with magnificence, with excellence, and even with going beyond that which we have conceived of within our hearts and we have measured. Let them, by the time they come to realization, they'll have a greater, a more glorious, a more becoming, a more consequential reality than now is. For it is so. And together, wherever you may be, and you may not be able to join with me, but in 3, 2, 1, it is good in our sight. Thank you so much for participating with us. It's been a little bit of a short notice, but I believe that you benefited. You're now back on the timeline. We will be having these episodes every weekday on Saturday afternoon, just before the sun sets at Townnet, to begin the new week. And I can't wait for what is in store ahead of us. Shalom, be blessed, have a productive, a creative, and a dominant week ahead. I love you all.